Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
I'm Margaret Howell reporting for Infowars.com. We're bringing you more information regarding the Ohio State shooting that happened on that campus today. What we're learning about this, I'm joined in studio by gun expert, resident reporter Joe Biggs. We're going to be talking about how the fact, Joe, nobody on that campus was allowed to carry a gun despite Ohio having pretty lax concealed carry state laws. You are allowed to carry in the state. Giving them some more information about what happened on the campus today. There was an unidentified 18-year-old Somalian refugee who rammed his car into a group of students, pulled out a butcher knife, began slicing, injured 9 people. How do you think this would have been different? Had students been armed, had students been aware of their rights to be armed? And do you think the school has any sort of, I don't want to implicate them, but, not allowing students to be able to defend themselves is one thing. Could this have gone differently, do you think?
Well, when you have someone driving a car into a crowd, there's not much you can do to stop that. Now, once the man jumped out and decided to start chopping people up with a machete, at that point in time, if you weren't hit by a car, if someone had their concealed carry, they'd be able to reach down for a sweet little Springfield 1911 EMP4 and put 2 to the chest, 1 in the head, and that bad guy pretty quick,
Right.
and, you'd be done. Instead, this guy was able to continue on this rampage, so to say, and start hacking up people after he ran into people. So there's not much you can do, essentially, with a guy just deciding to run up on a sidewalk and hit people, But we've seen in the past, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, they called for these kind of attacks to run people over, to jump out and use machetes and things like that.
Whatever weapon you have.
Whatever you have, and bad guys know the laws. Any kind of criminal knows the laws of those areas very well, and they use that to help them out. You look at the history of these attacks. They always happen in gun-free zones. Gun-free zones, what I've always said, are kill zones.
Do you think he knew that this was a gun-free zone? Like he was aware?
Well, he was a guy who lived there right down the road, so I'm sure he's very aware of what's going on. I mean, you're not just going to blindly go into a lot of these situations without looking at the laws and kind of finding out, how quickly, there's going to be a response. I think this guy probably did his homework, and he knew that there was going to be a good chance that he could kind of get away with what he was going to do before police showed up and someone with a gun was able to initially, stop him or take him down. But there were multiple people, that were in on this. I know 2 guys were taken away and handcuffed
They were
as
in
well.
the car
Yeah.
with a suspect who was trying to chop people up. The initial report was that he had a machete. Turns out it was a butcher knife. And we could get into an immigration discussion here and properly vetting refugees. That's a different topic for a different day. But, what's happening on these campuses, I myself, prior to joining Infowars, had never really had a lot of, and being from Kentucky, I'd never had a lot of experience around weaponry like this. And we're really encouraged as women to sort of become comfortable with the right to protect yourself. And, I know that you've talked to students on campus, you've interviewed people. Do you find like they're compliant? They oftentimes don't even know which way is up.
I mean,
Like,
the sad thing is I was looking on social media, and there were different kids in these classrooms who were throwing up chairs to block this door down. And I'm like, depending on the size of this guy, someone can run in there, hit that door. I mean, some little chairs that students use aren't going to do it. It's pretty sad and pathetic when you have to go to that. You should be able to have a gun. You should be able to protect yourself when some loony like that decides to come in and attack you. Because when seconds count, police are minutes away, and that's the difference between life and death. And that's the important thing people have to understand. No one really quite understands that and what that means until they're put in one of those situations themselves and they survive it. I guarantee you Ohio State and those students are going to reevaluate campus carry and look at these abilities to be able to protect yourself. I guarantee you a lot of these students are going to go out and take those concealed weapons courses. They're going to go out, get firearms, and try to find a way to better improve themselves and to be able to protect themselves.
Do you have any advice for specifically women? Because women, we're not taught that, even to defend ourselves, that you really have to come out of a brainwashing where you have the right to defend yourself against an attack like this if somebody is attacking you. Any advice? We've got 30 seconds left just for people that might be listening to this, where to start, where to begin, if they want to, become more educated about their right to bear arms in this country.
Well, first and foremost, go to Infowars.com and you can watch our videos because most of us here are, gun, I wouldn't say experts, but we definitely follow the Second Amendment. We definitely know our rights. Find your local gun store, take a concealed weapons permit course, get your license, go through those steps, and improve your knowledge. And you yourself could be able to save people around you and protect yourself, your property, and your family.
All right, so tell me some other things. That's a good, warm up for people. What else could they do if they really wanted to get started in defending themselves?
First and foremost, watch our show because we cover a lot of gun issues and topics here at Infowars.com. We have people on like Tim Kennedy, myself, and others who work with weapons quite a bit. I'm ex-military. Tim Kennedy is still operational in special forces and is out there training all the time as well. The best thing to do is if you're going to have a gun and you make this choice that you yourself want to carry something like this, a concealed gun. This is a Springfield EMP4 1911. It's small, it's compact, it's easy to carry. You need to practice how you would be in everyday life. You need to find something that's going to be comfortable for you as a woman, how you could still carry. Now, there's different types of garments you can get. There's an inside waistband that goes in between your legs that you can pull up a skirt,
Right.
and then you can pull a gun. There's different bra holsters. There's all
Right.
kinds of different things that you as an individual need to find out that's comfortable for you and how you go about your everyday. What side do you carry your purse on? Things like that. Every individual has to think about and break down if you want to be sufficient in the fight back against an attack like this. So it's not just as simple as going out and buying a gun and going to an indoor range and putting some rounds down range, because that, at the end of the day, you're just wasting money. You're not really doing anything. It's just like a muscle. You need to use it all the time to build that up and get that muscle memory. So that's what a firearm. This firearm is an extension of your body. It needs to be a part of you. You need to know mentally where that gun is. If something happens, and say there's a shooting or some jackass decides to pull out a machete, you need to already know where that gun is without even looking for it, grabbing it and instinctively going in for that shot. Now, if you're going to be someone who carries it in your purse, you need to have that purse beside you a lot, somewhere within arm's reach that you know where it is. A lot of people go out and buy guns and they forget about all these other things that you have to go into it. It's a responsibility. And it's just like having anything else in your life that you want to be good at. You've got to practice, practice, practice. There's a lot of people that go to the range once a month. That's not enough. You can take concealed carry classes where you can go in and get your license to be able to carry this on your person, depending on state laws and regulations or the campus you're at. Texas, we have a campus carry, but you need to find out those laws, and then you need to learn those laws, just like you would the Constitution. You need to eat, sleep, and breathe that and understand what it is you're able to do. The biggest thing to do is you can take self-defense courses, learn how to use stuff other than just guns, learn how to use knives, choke points, holds, all these different things that can be done if you don't have that ability to get to it. And second of all is understanding your surroundings. What kind of a classroom environment, say we're a student, what kind of classroom environment am I in on a daily basis? A lot of people are so complacent. They sit down, they go there every day, they go through this same process every day.
We're taught to do that, though, Joe. We're taught to be dumbed down, compliant. We don't ever question anything. Keep your head down. Do what you're told. That's how you really have to let go of that in a lot of the time, because if you don't let go of that, you go through life like that. I mean, that's kind of how we're taught from the time we're born.
When I go into a new room, a new setting, a restaurant, whatever it may be, I sit down. I'm counting exits, entrances, what can be used as a weapon if I can't have a gun on me in that instance because of the signage that's outside saying I can't conceal carry. I'm looking for things I can use. I'm finding possible routes in and out, the back or the front, where I can go, what looks like a sturdy foundation that I could hide behind if someone does start firing rounds at me. You need to always be thinking like that all the time, wherever you go, because how many people go into these situations? How many people went to school today at Ohio State and thought that something was going to happen? None of them. No one expects that. But you as an individual can take the steps necessary to take these preventative measures and think about that every day. Make it a routine. Make it a habit. Think about this every time you go into a new room, because if you're going to be in this room every day, you should know it better than some jackass who just showed up, who doesn't know that room better than you. You better know what could be used, broken off as a stick to use as a weapon, what could be used to jam that door that's going to be sufficient to use to stop that. This is something that you need to do as a human being to survive, because we live in a world right now, quite frankly, the borders are wide, open.
They are.
And they're allowing these people come
really
in.
Quickly, we're running out of time. His name was Abdul Artan. That's what we're finding out about him. 19 years old. Excuse me, I said 18 earlier. It says here it's 19. He's 19 years old. Somali immigrant. We can expect to see more of these. It's up to you to take care of yourself, to take care of your family, and frankly, be able to defend yourself. That's going to do it for us for tonight. Be sure to check out our website, Infowars.com, for more reports like this. I'm Margaret Howell with Joe Biggs.
You think our information's hardcore? You think our focus is brutal? Try our nutraceuticals. Try our supplements. We've taken Brain Force and made it Brain Force Plus. Now with 20% more in the bottle and an even more hardcore formula. You owe it to yourself to get these products. They really have worked for myself, my family. They have 5-star reviews by the thousands. Secure your Brain Force Plus today at InfoWarsLife.com. Now 20% stronger. Again, InfoWarsLife.com.